robot mode in the gym, coach. You know, a guy just show up. You know, he's confused. He doesn't know what he's doing. You know, he goes and asks the coach for a schedule or training, and he's still lost.
Right. I'm gonna try to give you two faces of robot mode. This is something. It happens back home, but I see it's really, really, really common here, and that is not the transcendence or the transference of knowledge from coach to client. So what I see is robot mode is a person doesn't ever have to use his brain. They just walk in the gym, coach, what do I do? He says, do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And then the next day he comes in, what do I do? This, and that goes on ever. This, and if you're in one gym and you spend days, weeks, months, and you're able to see the same people over 2 or 3 years time, and they're doing the same thing. At some point in time, if you don't learn something, you become a robot. And I always talk about predictable results. The predictable result in this case, if you go into robot mode, is what? You're never gonna, this person doesn't make goals, but you're just gonna have a cycle of progress and digression, progression and digression, progression and digression. It'll be just an ingoing cycle, because if that coach is not really coaching you, what do you do? I mean, you just, there's no progression there. There's just no, you're doing the same things over and over. There's no charting of your weights. There's no charting of your progress. There's no tests. There's no real measurement of success in that program, in a system like that. And that's what I call robot mode. And people are consistently following this, I believe, only because some of the individuals that perpetuate this style, they lock them in with a false promise in pills and injections. You take the pills and injections away, this person, I think, Allahu Alam, I think that they would see that this is, I'm not getting anywhere.
Wow.
I'm not getting anywhere with this guy.
Wow.
But when I can give you a bag, and then and all you do, oh yeah, I trust you now, because you're basically my street pharmacist. You see what I mean?
So it's not a coach anymore. It's a chemist.
Right. So he comes in, he does do that, and you see the progress. What he didn't tell you is that the progress will go away, and then and then what happens? If you're hurt because it's messing with your hormones, and most of the guys, they get hurt. They get emotionally imbalanced. They stop coming to the gym. Then, he wakes up, he looks in his old social media, he was looking good and feeling fine, and I gotta go back to the gym. So he goes back to the gym to the same guy who hands him another bag. And he sees results again. And that's that progression and digression that you can never get out of, man.
So it's more in the brain, psychological,
it's
manipulating your emotions, and how do you feel about yourself,
Well, that's what it leads to. That's what it leads to, because a real coach is building you foundation, brick by brick, till you reach the goal that you want. And usually a good coach is going to take you beyond your own personal expectations in the training. Once you master the fundamentals and really buy into the concept of what the coach is giving you, that's when you personify it. And that's when you see amazing things come out of people. Michael Jordan, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali. These are people, Roy Jones. LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Serena and Venus Williams. They started at day one and they mastered fundamentals. The coach built them to a point, then they shot off and took off. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, from Fajr until Asr, shoot free throws. No, that wasn't good enough.
Wow.
Come on, man. There's a way to be a champion now. Don't make it cheap. Don't make it cheap. There's a way to be a champion.
Okay, let me put this in place. You know, you find people here in the gyms, you know, he's all of the sudden like took a steroids and he become like bigger or something, and his friend walk in the gym and all of a sudden he's trying to coach him. Then when his coach came, he go to the coach to ask him about his training.
See, that's why you have to go through I don't want to get too deep and philosophical about it, but that has to do with, that's a psychological issue. Because if you're not a coach and you feel like you need to coach, that means you need to feel important. You want to feel important to society without paying your dues. You don't want to pay the price. You just want to be there. You see?
So there is no honesty about what they are doing.
How could it be? How could it be? I just because I look a certain way makes me the coach of the year and I know how to teach everybody? Come on, no, not like that, bro. Pay your dues. Pay your dues. Learn something. And see, the thing about it is, I'll tell you what, the most humble of coaches, they're mesquite, man. They don't have a famous name. The coaches don't get the credit. The coaches that built the basketball players, that built the boxers, that built the football, the first one, the work, and sometimes they don't get the credit they deserve. You hear about Muhammad Ali, but how many people know who he coached him? Okay? Roy Jones, how many people know who coached him? You see the medal in the first place and the bling bling, but you don't know what it took to get there. And so when people come in a society or come in a generation where they disregard those who paid the dues, and you have this false persona based on, some really trash manipulation, and now what you're gonna do because you seek it, you're willing to really play a fool. Because it's just like a person who's a quack doctor and a real doctor. A real sheikh of tafsir or any religious science and someone who's just talking. You telling me you can't tell the difference? You can. So the person who puts himself up like that, at the end of the day, when you put it to the acid test, is this true or not? They fail. Because it's just for likes, views, subscriptions, to be famous. If that's all you're chasing, you'll do anything to be famous.
So it's a false reality, we can say, and there is no self-preservation behind it. Even if it was, it's wrong. They're seeing themselves from the wrong side.
Haven't we not? See, a person like me, I'm a social analyst. What does that mean? I'm the guy who looks in the shadows and I try to judge and understand how society's moving and why it's moving that way. Okay? Haven't we seen a person that came on social media in whatever form and they boosted themselves up to be high as the stars, only to just crash horribly? Several people, it has happened to them because it was a fake persona. It was an act. It wasn't real. You see what I mean? And that's this generation now, the time we live in, people will do it. They'll do it.
Let me get this. How a person is feeling about himself, that if he just being raised, by the society, then he get de-criticized, in the same way. Nobody is looking about him, or the people around him knows that he's a fool, or he's fake person.
I'm not getting exactly what you need to just sum up what you want me to talk about.
I mean, someone who just like being pumped out in the social media,
Right.
and he has nothing, to give back to the society.
Right.
He doesn't add value to the people. He doesn't.
Come on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We can say 90% of the people who are famous on social media right now in any country have nothing to offer society. Absolutely nothing.
What about the people that they're following them, and that they cheer them up? And
Because it's sad to say, people who are born who are not solidly grounded are one of the masses. And the masses, unfortunately, are like sheep. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And that's when you see lack of individualism. What do I mean by individualism? You like that shirt, I like this one. That's your hairstyle, this is mine.
right.
You see what I mean? I come from the gutter. I mean, when I say that, let me take that back. I don't come from the gutter like that. I've been in the gutter. Put it like that. I've been in the gutter. And I have a distinct culture. So why, if in my culture that I suffered, I am insan majruh from my culture in many different avenues. So why is it that some young man in Jeddah has no honor for his own culture to the point he would imitate the worst of the worst of some of the worst traits of my culture? Because he lacks individualism. He lacks honor for who he is and who he comes from. And he's, again, I told you, if you're not firmly grounded, you're one of the masses, and the masses are just like sheep.
Maybe of course he has no personalities, he just wanna be liked, or he just wanna fit in the society. So, he looks up to what's the majority of the society is doing, and I wanna be like them, so I wanna fit in,
Peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of like go against the grain and be the wolf, and climb the hills and
Be the alpha wolf, the alpha male in the wolf pack, the leader and not the follower.
right.
I get it.
Because the follower is, he just follow the steps of the leader, and he's there. He doesn't have to suffer. He doesn't have to. Let's keep it with the suffering. You want to be comfortable.
Everybody wants to be comfortable. If we understand life, sometimes comfort comes after difficulty.
Right. But those people mainly.
You see, in life, what makes you kids when they're growing up, they need to have the experience of riding the bike. They fall down and scratch their knee. They run into the neighborhood bully. They're competing in something and they lose. Why? Because this develops character. You're not, if you have everything paved out for you, every time there's a difficulty, somebody is there to bail you out. You're gonna have weak character. And you're not gonna have patience. You're not gonna be able to struggle. You're gonna always tap out.
If we talk about this subject, nowadays kids, is like being their life associated with the technology and phones, smartphones, iPads, and they literally they don't have personalities, and the parents, they don't want to take the pressure and the effort, to spend time with their kids, to make them learn something in their life. When they grow up, they can move on, you know. But they give them the whatever, the iPad, the phone, you know, just to shut him up and keep them busy, you know. A stage of a short thinking and short span of focus, you know. So the kids growing up like having no personalities, they don't know how to associate with the life itself.
Yeah, you brought up so many issues. I'll take the first one. Of course, some things are out of our control. Our society, the world, the global society is moving fast towards technology. That's something that's out of our control. As parents, what parents have to do is understand the playing ground, the playing field. You have to understand that there are certain applications that are dangerous for children. As parents, you have to understand that the tab, the iPhone, the iPad is not a babysitter. You know, those things have to be monitored. They have to be, you know, you just can't let your kid run off. And because nowadays, it's so easy on YouTube. If you're letting your kid they could get into something terrible. You know what I mean? Really terrible. And the thing about it is the parents that aren't having an interpersonal relationship with their kids. Interpersonal relationship. Yes, we're father and son, mother and daughter. Father and daughter, mother and son. Yes. But do we have an other existing relationship? Can we be friendly? Can we be friendly?
A lot of parents nowadays, they don't associate with the kids. Even the kids, when they go to their parents, they're only demanding something. That's it. Otherwise, they're in the room, in the PlayStation or whatever, in the phone, and even like you know, like under 20s, you know, between like I would say like 14, 13s till 20 and more. That's what they're associating at the house with. Phones, technology.
So now, let's tie in what you just said back to what we were talking about in the gym. So those are some of the people that we're dealing with. That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
So, those are some of the people that may have these, you know, different kind of behaviors, might fall into those same traps where, you know, give me the bag and they get in that little cycle. Hey, it might be the same. One could be related to the other. Could be. But back to the issue, parents have to have a relationship with their children. Because me, being a coach and dealing with kids, my phone is ringing all the time. And what I hear is parents aren't spending time with their kids. They don't know the issues that their kids are going through. They're not even teaching the kids the basic, you know, we're in Saudi, so I'm talking about Muslim families. A lot of these kids, the parents aren't even teaching them the basic fundamental principles of Islam. So if you grow up, after a while, the brain associates everything. And then by the time you get to 30, you're going to be dependent on how this individual person tried to have a connection with God and to have some kind of basira or have some kind of navigation, way to navigate this world. He might realize at age 30, like, wow, I was taught nothing. But now that I know that, I'm going to do it myself.
Some people don't get to that.
I understand that.
Unfortunately.
I understand that.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is, these kids, because there is no relationship, no foundation, they're experimenting in everything. That's what I'm getting on the phone calls. This American Muslim brother who came to your country, I've been here 10 years, these are the phone calls that I get from your children.